A week before the wedding and someone's trying to steal my fiancé. I am a 24-year-old woman and I'm set to get married to my high school sweetheart in a little over a week from now. I've liked him since elementary school, and honestly, just thinking about how I actually ended up with him and I'm about to walk down the aisle with him is crazy to me. We're getting married at this absolutely gorgeous castle venue in the PNW, and it's peak fall weather right now, where it's just cold enough and the leaves are changing colours and it looks like a Gilmore Girls episode outside. I have this beautiful wedding dress that actually brought me and my mum to tears when I tried it on. All my beloved family and friends are in town to help prep for the big day, and again, I'm marrying the guy I've wanted to be with since I was a kid. Everything is as perfect can be for me. But I can't be happy and enjoy this next week because I just heard the most insane thing from my husband-to-be. A girl we went to school with, elementary through high school, reached out to my fiancé and congratulated him on his engagement. No big deal, we've been getting messages like those a lot. She and I were never that close, but we were pretty good acquaintances through mutual friends. I moved schools and towns my sophomore year and lost contact with a lot of people, unfortunately. Anyways, she congratulated my fiancé and then sent a few "how are you doing? We haven't talked in a while" type messages. She and my fiancé were never close either, but he was, and still is, a really nice and popular guy, so everyone likes to talk with him. They exchanged a few messages, just catching up on the past couple of years, and they got to talking about the wedding. She then drops a message that said she was disappointed about not getting invited to the wedding, despite how close we all were in school. Again, we were never close in school. Yeah, we saw each other in the playgrounds and at lunches in later years, but we never hung out in the same group. My fiancé kind of brushed it off and apologised and told her that we had very limited seating, which is true. She then doesn't respond for a few hours and he thinks that's the end of everything. But last night, he got this huge paragraph from her basically saying she's been in love with him for years and how she wanted to confess to him in high school, but I got in the way. We were both completely flabbergasted. Like jaws dropped on the floor, room so quiet you could hear us blink, kind of shocked. The rest of the message is her trying to convince him to meet up with her to see each other again so they can have a talk about the past. I immediately tell my fiancé to block her and I whip up my phone to send her a piece of my mind. But he stops me and says I shouldn't be so hasty. I'm offended at this point because what does he mean by that? So I ask and he says he's obviously not going to meet with her, but he can't just leave her hanging like that because it's rude. I ask him if he ever had anything going on with her, and he instantly says no, and that he never showed her any interest other than his usual platonic nature. I was so shocked and upset, I went up to bed and just laid there, processing. A while later, my fiancé came in and said he sent a message back saying he was flattered, but loved me and could not meet with her out of respect for his soon-to-be marriage. You want to know what her response was? She said that he deserved to be with someone better and that I bullied her all throughout high school because I knew she wanted him. I didn't even go to the same school as her for most of high school. How could I bully her from a town over? At that point, I was so fed up that I just got ready for bed and went to sleep. I woke up this morning and my fiancé said he never texted back after what she said. Since then, she sent a flurry of messages saying she just wanted him to know who he was really marrying and that she was always honest with him. I would like to be clear here and say that I'm not upset with my fiancé at all. I believe him when he says that he never flirted with her or led her on. This girl, whatever she's going through, is trying to drive a wedge through us, and that's making me irate. I have never once done anything to her that could be considered bullying. She also never told me about how she had feelings for my fiancé. He and I started dating a couple of months after I moved schools. She had plenty of time to talk with him and tell him how she felt with me out of the way. I understand the heartache she must be going through if she has really been in love with my fiancé all this time, but that doesn't give her the right to just spring this on him so close to the wedding day and expect him to just run off with her. I want to so badly send her a message and ask her why she's telling lies about me, but I also just want to move on and forget this ever happened. Okay, and there we go for that story. Now, just immediately, what comes to my mind is what a terribly troubled individual. I just actually feel sorry for this person, that their life is in such a bad place that they're now feeling the need to try and ruin someone else's. Like, what are you actually doing? Surely this woman knows how selfish and potentially damaging she is being by doing what she's doing. Like, yeah, obviously nothing's going to come of this and your husband's not an idiot, but even making you like have these horrible thoughts and being more stressed, etc., it's probably very tough for your husband as well. Who wants that in the week leading up to their wedding? Now, on top of that, you also now probably, I'm sorry to say it, this was posted just a couple of days ago, so in a way I kind of hope that this woman doesn't see this video before her wedding, but I would now be concerned that there's a decent chance this other woman finds out where the wedding is. That won't be that hard. Comes along, like just storms in, and then she seems like the sort of person to say, I object, and just ruin the entire day. I mean, maybe that's a little bit far-fetched from me, but I genuinely could see somebody like that doing something like that. Like, on the one hand, I do feel sorry for her because it does sound like she's having some sort of episode, and there's no way her life can be going very well when she's doing stuff like this. But on the other hand, because she seemingly has no real idea of how damaging her actions can be and are being, I just think that you need to be super careful and just, block, tell nobody to contact with her at all, and just, make sure to the greatest possibility that you can that she has no bearing and no ability to go to your wedding at all. Also, I do have to say one more thing, actually, just about your fiancé, OP. And I know I'm slightly rambling here, but you guys are probably thinking the same as me here. Like, if this is me in this situation, and I'm the guy, I'm not entertaining this for 1 second. I'm like instantly blocking. This is the week leading up to my wedding with the woman I'm about to marry, and we've been, like, not even high school sweethearts. Before that, I've known her my whole life. This is like the dream, right? I'm not entertaining this conversation. I'm not replying to this woman just to be nice, and I definitely wouldn't say, oh, you can't just not reply. Like, you can just block her. Just do not even begin to entertain the conversation. You saw what happened after OP's husband-to-be sent a few messages. It got worse and worse and worse, and then you got that long paragraph, and who knows? I think now the situation has escalated more than it would have done if you just blocked her in the first place. That's definitely what I would have done. It's weird. Like, yes, what the girl did is terrible, but it's a bit of a red flag that your fiancé didn't just outright block her. That was the obvious thing to do. Why keep communication open? Okay, now moving on to our next story. This one involves some more wedding drama. Bride assaulted at her own wedding. I have been with my partner for over a decade, but we haven't gotten around to getting married yet. His younger brother got engaged to a really sweet Austrian woman, and they decided to get married. It was great news as she is really nice and balances him out well. The wedding was beautiful, on family property, and came with a bit of drama, as weddings tend to do. The mother of the groom was in a tizzy about her assigned seat during the ceremony. She threw a huge fit the night before the wedding. The couple DIY'd almost everything, and at some points in the night, the bride was running around doing chores. The DJs were pretty awful, playing old middle school dance hits, like Low by Flo Rida to kick it off, which Grandma was not going to dance to, and most of the time, nobody was on the dance floor. At one point, I was kind of wondering where people had gone off to. Anyway, afterwards, my partner and I started to think maybe we should elope, as the wedding seemed like a lot of stress to the couple. Little did I know. About a month later, we get a call from his brother. He tells us the reason some people were missing that night. Apparently, one of the guests groped the bride on the dance floor. He started giving lots of details, and I was in shock. The guy grabbed the bride, and she knocked his hand away. But then he did it again. She told him to get lost. She wanted to focus on her day, but others who saw or heard about it took it upon themselves to kick him out. Now, as if that's not drama enough, the person was a friend of the father of the groom. The parents gave a lot of money towards the wedding and thus brought their own guests. Sorry, I have to stop right there. That's not how that works. If the parents give a lot of money towards the wedding, they give a lot of money towards the wedding. They don't therefore bring their own guests. That is crazy. Anyway, let's carry on. The father even pushed for more of his own friends, saying that they would get a bigger gift from those people. Oh, God. The couple said they only wanted people they'd met before at the wedding. But even then, the parents really pushed. The guy gave me heebie-jeebies and I stayed away from him. It turns out the family knows he's been fired before for inappropriate behavior. The next day, the father-in-law drove to see the groper, claiming he did not know the situation yet. The groper's wife said that the groper owed the bride an apology, so that was the first hint to the father-in-law that something had happened. Father-in-law drove home, then told the bride she should just get over it, still claiming he didn't know what the situation she should get over even was. The groom, who thankfully was completely supportive of his new wife, confronted his dad and told him exactly what happened. He'd written down everything, who had seen it happen, what happened, when, etc. I can't quite believe I'm reading this, to be honest. What a disgusting thing to happen at your wedding. And then your father-in-law, your brand new father-in-law, is saying, I'll just get over it. It didn't even happen anyway. Like, what have we even got to apologize for? Insane. Oh, here we go. The father-in-law then made the bride retell the whole thing, then revealed that his fourth wife was on the line, who is best friends with the wife of the groper. The fourth wife basically ignored the bride and groom after that. This hurt the bride, who had a good relationship with her, and even with the wife of the groper. She wanted to reach out to the groper's wife to patch things up. The groper himself sent a half-buttered apology via text. I heard I might have done something to upset you. I'm sorry if I upset anyone. Complete BS. The father-in-law apparently had a pre-planned vacation to Italy with the groper 2 weeks after the wedding. Despite the fact that his new daughter-in-law was SA'd on the day of her wedding, he went anyway. The father-in-law said he heard there was an apology, though it was not accepted by the bride or groom, so therefore he decided to go on the trip. He also said that only now he is learning that the groper has other history, which is definitely not true, as my partner knew through my father-in-law that the groper lost his license, etc., in the past. I was appalled at all of this. I could see a mirror image of the exact same situation happening to me and my partner had we gotten married 5 years ago, before tons of therapy, learning about boundaries, learning how to deal with narcissistic parents. The groom and bride were pretty easy on the father-in-law, telling him they didn't care about his friendship with the groper, but to me, it's actually appalling that he went on the vacation anyway. The groper wasn't held accountable in any way. If he doesn't want to apologise, next up would be the father-in-law at least apologising for his part in inviting the groper. My partner called father-in-law to tell him his opinion of everything, and that he was not happy that he went on the vacation. Then, the father-in-law said, well, it's not like there was a R word at the wedding. Oh my days. Might be one of the worst things I've ever read or heard on Reddit. So, that is where we're at right now, with the father-in-law saying he didn't even have a good time on the trip anyway. And for some reason, a lot of the focus being on fourth wife's friendship with the groper's wife, instead of on the groper, or the reason that the groper was even there, the father-in-law. Or any focus on who was actually harmed in all of this, the bride who was assaulted on her own wedding night. Disgusting behaviour. Well, if you thought the first story had drama, how about that? Just actually disgraceful scenes. Can't quite believe what I've just read there, as I just said. Yes, if there's one thing you've learned from all of this, it's that you personally need to not have a wedding where they are anywhere near it. Any involvement from the father-in-law, any of his mates at all. Just no. Just get gone, elope, and then have your own party at home without them. Just do something that you can control and that they don't feel they have control over because they've put money into it. Or some of their friends are going to give big gifts. And then SA the wife. It's like, it's actually crazy. It's just insane that, like, the father of the groom is not even apologizing to the groom or his new daughter-in-law at all and saying, yeah, well, it's fine, mate. Like, no one got hard. Relax, bro. It's chill. Also, we gave you a lot of money. Like, we paid for a lot of this stuff, so we're allowed to do this. I don't know. I genuinely feel like it's probably a weird thing to say, but you, OP, and your partner have probably, yeah, as you said, to be fair yourself, gotten away with it a little bit. Like, the fact that you didn't have a wedding 5 years ago and your partner's brother had a wedding first means that you've probably not been groped. You get what I'm saying here, guys. Like, this sort of thing could easily have happened before at any other wedding, probably has done, probably will in future. I mean, it's not a good thing that you know, but at least you do know. However, for this new bride, I just feel like it's awful. You have to go to the police. You have to. And I get it. Why she was just like, okay, I'm leaving you alone. Get out. I don't like that this has happened, obviously, but this is my wedding night. I'm not going to ruin it. But now, after the event, you have to go to the police. At least, like, get some sort of legal action started. Actually, there's precedent before, right? This guy's already lost his license, been fired from a job or two. Something serious could happen to him if you press charges. Like, it has to be done at this point. It really has to. If anything, it's now irresponsible to not press charges, because if you don't, who knows? It might happen to somebody else very soon. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. Let me know your thoughts on those two stories. The first one, in reality, compared to the second, pretty tame. I thought the first one was actually like pretty crazy. Someone trying to steal your fiance a week before your wedding. But then we had the second one, and that kind of put the first one into perspective. Wow. Let me know your thoughts on both these stories down below. If you're a fan of wedding drama like this and you want to see more, drop a like on this one. And I will catch you very soon with some more crazy stories.